All right, let's get up close to him. Well, we're watching this Ford Explorer, this blue Ford Explorer that's been being pursued by CHP and the Orange County, and now we understand that possibly Gardena police might be involved also. We're going northbound on the 405 right now at about 55, 60 miles an hour. We're just about 3 miles south of the 105, 405 interchange. So we'll have to see when he gets up that way what his decisions, which way he's going to go. We came upon this a while ago. We got a call that there was a pursuit coming northbound out of Orange County on the 91 freeway, and so far it's come all the way up here to the west side right near Hawthorne. Well, right at the moment I see at least four, but I'm not exactly sure if they're all CHP or other police agencies involved. We did hear earlier that the CHP was probably going to drop it and let it go to Orange County or Gardena police, but it looks like there is one CHP directly behind him yet. As a matter of fact, the Skyfox, we're being directed to climb up over LAX right now, so if the picture gets a little fuzzy or distant, it's because we're quite a ways away from him here. And at some point here, we may lose him in traffic, but we'll pick him up on the other side of the airport. I can tell you that up ahead I can see that traffic is coming to a very, almost a stop here just north of the airport. I'll have to zoom out a little bit here. It's, as you can see, it's, well, you know, we had a pursuit a month or so ago where the individual stopped on the freeway and just taunted the police and came up behind a bunch of traffic and just kind of sat there. You know, it's up to the CHP and the police agencies as to how they're going to approach him. If, you know, they're made aware that he may have a weapon or something in the vehicle, they're not going to get very close, obviously, just to be on the safe side. So the people in front will have no idea. The people that are alongside the CHP units or the other police units will be, you know, they'll kind of catch on to what's going on here. But, you know, coming up on traffic like he is right now, these people are, you know, totally unaware of what's going on. Oh, we're long past the 105. We're up past the LAX already. We're up here near Century Boulevard. We're just past Century Boulevard. But as you can see, and I apologize for the pictures here, we're so far away because of the having to deal with LAX. As you can see, the traffic stopped, and I think it looks like I'm not sure where he is. Okay, here it is over here. See if I can get in a little. See if I can get in a little closer here with an extender. I can see ahead. I can see ahead here. The helicopter. Once he gets past Howard Hughes Parkway in that area, the traffic loosens up. So he'll probably pick up speed once he gets up in that area. That's right. Well, I would guess, I can't be exact, but I would guess for a better part of 45 minutes at least, because it took a while to come up out of Orange County, and looks like, what time is it now? 20 minutes to 1. So it's probably been going on for at least 45 minutes, if not longer. And as you can see, again, traffic's coming to a stop here. You know, that's right, and I haven't seen anything really erratic or wild. I mean, I've covered a number of pursuits over the years I've done this, and so far this one's mild by comparison. He's not been doing extreme speeds. He's not been cutting lanes wildly, and so it's to his benefit that he is being a little more cautious than some of them we've seen. I can't even tell where he is, to be honest. Just give me a second here, and I'll zoom out. And he's okay. I'm told he's near Manchester right at the moment. So he's coming north. Here you can see the street signs there, Florence. Yeah. So he's heading toward the Santa Monica. Yes, exactly. Now I don't know if the
as erratic as we've seen from other pursuits. There's a cruiser there just ahead, so...
So what we do know is this started out in Placentia. It's an alleged suspected domestic abuse charge here. We don't know who is in the vehicle right now. This started approximately 45 minutes ago. He's gone all the way from Orange County, now he's in LA County. He's up here in the Century or Culver City kind of area, 405, and coming straight up to the 10 interchange. But he is talking to the police on a phone, apparently.
So now we see through the window there, the driver, the arm of the driver as we get a little bit of a closer look. And normal traffic there on a Friday afternoon on the 405 freeway. So it hasn't been, at least from what we have seen, a very high rate of speed. Hasn't been displaying many erratic actions at this point. So the strategy from the CHP and other authorities that are following this pursuit is just to sit back and wait and try to negotiate. There he is now, getting out of the HOV, crossing that double yellow line and going into the regular lanes of traffic now on the 405 freeway.
And how many, are there 2 CHP vehicles behind him? How many are behind him? Just 2, so there's 3 now.
It looks like there are 4 vehicles, but I'm not sure if there's 5 actually, but I'm not sure if they're all CHP. Let me do a real quick check here. That one is CHP, that one's CHP, and they're all CHP as it looks like.
So they've taken over right now.
Yeah, and you know, recently we saw an interesting maneuver that CHP employed where they boxed the individual in. However, in this case, because the individual may have a weapon, they're not going to risk that, you know, being shot at by trying to box the individual in. And of course, they can't do a pit maneuver on the freeway because there's too many people. It would be way too dangerous. And a pit maneuver usually only works at about 35 miles an hour anyway. And right now, it looks like we're doing about 45 to 55 miles an hour.
He was on the side here, and up coming the 10 here. Maybe he's coming this way.
And now reports that this driver is agitated, again talking to officers on the phone, saying that he could be armed, and now he's how should I say this?
Angry.
Well, he's motioning. He's motioning to other officers with some vulgar motions.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Getting onto the side of the road here to get around all of the traffic there.
As you can see, Culver Boulevard.
Yeah, he's coming up to Culver Boulevard here. We thought at first there he was going to get off at Jefferson, but it looks like he stayed on. Now, as you can see, he's underneath the 90 freeway interchange here with the 405. As a matter of fact, I've kind of lost him down here in all the traffic.
Is that the 10? I think that's the 10.
No, what you're seeing is the 90 freeway here, the Marina freeway. That crosses here at the 405 near Fox Hills.
All right, again, you're looking at a police pursuit, again in the Orange County area. This is a domestic abuse suspect. It began in Placentia on, it's like Chapman Avenue, 401 East Chapman Avenue. And this is a pursuit that went onto the 91 freeway, the westbound lanes, got onto the 405, left the Orange County area, and now is in LA County and CHP in pursuit. He's telling police that he potentially could be armed, motioning to officers as well in an agitated state. This is pretty much what we've seen throughout the pursuit, the time that we've been looking at this. He appears to still not be that erratic in terms of, relatively speaking, when we're talking, from what we've seen from other pursuits. And it looks like on a Friday afternoon on the 405 freeway, we're looking at that normal traffic. And so officers there are still in pursuit.
What we don't know is if there's anyone else in the vehicle. Right now, we just see one person. Obviously, we're on the driver's side of the vehicle, but we do not know if anyone else is in the car, which probably, you know, CHP and the police are concerned about.
All right, where are we now, Vinny?
Right now, we are coming up through the Palms area, I think. I'm not sure yet. And he's now driving over to the right side. I did notice just a moment ago that CHP is now blocking traffic from getting on the freeways at the on-ramps all along this area. It looks like we're coming into Culver City here.
Yeah, we just passed Culver Boulevard right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that pursuit continues, and really at a slow rate of speed. We've seen in instances in the past when traffic has backed up, this driver has been going onto the shoulder to get around the traffic, but really hasn't picked up the speed that considerably, which is actually good news for some of the other drivers there on the 405 freeway. A closer look, and now we're looking at the.
He's looked like he's holding a cell phone and talking on the phone.
Could
obviously
be on the cell phone and could be talking to officers.
Mm-hmm. So once again, this pursuit started in Placentia, an alleged domestic abuse. Suspect inside that vehicle. And now we're coming up, we went from Orange County to Los Angeles County, and we have about 5 CHP vehicles behind. And as you know, this 405 at this time of day is not the route I would take necessarily.
And it is possible. It's possible there could be another person in the vehicle. Some are saying that they can see another person in the passenger side of that front seat.
Well, as you can see, they've obviously stopped traffic too. Look in front of him, like they're obviously diverting and stopping people from coming onto the freeway. So it's widening and opening up. So maybe they'll do that maneuver that you discussed, where they box them in, Vinny.
That's possible, but I doubt it because of the fact that they're not sure whether or not he has a weapon or not. The individual that they boxed in was a disoriented elderly fella, about 75 years old, and he was totally confused, and they were able to pull up next to him, around him, in front of him, and just put on the brakes and slow him down. But I don't think that's going to happen in this case. CHP will maintain a safe distance, and they're concerned about the safety of the other drivers on the road here. So. They're not going to try anything wild and crazy to bring this to an end if they can do it peacefully and safely.
The northbound 405 now at Venice. You saw the LA County Sheriff's helicopter there just pass across your screen. So we know that they have this this pursuit now from a bird's eye view from the helicopter as well. And it looks like that is the strategy of officers right now, to kind of take a step back to see if this person, perhaps they could just negotiate this person to stop the vehicle and end this peacefully. Because right now,
there's so many unknowns in that vehicle.
It doesn't provide that much of a. It could be a more dangerous situation if they decide to do more.
Yeah.
So at this point, kind of taking a step back, and it looks like this strategy, for the most part, is the safest for the people who are on the 405 freeway.
The hard part is people in front of them are oblivious to what's going on behind. You just see flashing lights, you think possibly just pulling over someone. So if you're listening or, can hear this, stay out of the way on the 405 right now as we're coming up. Let's see, we just passed Culver Boulevard. If we pull out a little, we're obviously coming up to the 10 soon.
We're about a mile south of the 10 right now. We'll be passing under one of the bridges right here. Well, you can see the
Venice.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You see the CHP
Venice,
there.
Yes.
They've blocked off some of the on-ramps, the off-ramps here to the freeway, and there you see people actually pulling aside. So perhaps living in Southern California, when you see cars like that and you see
that there's a pursuit
the trail of other police, black and whites with their lights and sirens on, that it's time to pull over. And there you see more than one car now pulling onto the shoulder of the 405 freeway, officers in pursuit of a relatively slow speed chase on the 405 freeway.
Well, as we saw, the suspect has been talking on his phone earlier. He's been communicating with law enforcement, and wonder if he's trying to work something out here.
All right, we're right at the 405-10 interchange, and we'll have to see whether he continues. No, it looks like he's getting off to the right.
So he's going to go towards downtown.
He's off the freeway now. This is well, I'm not sure what
National
street
Boulevard
this is.
here.
Okay, so he got off.
Yep.
Yes, he did. He's down here. Now, again, city streets down here. In this situation, they might attempt a pit maneuver here, but they'll have to do it when they're pretty sure that there's no traffic around. Now, he is stopping for stoplights, which is somewhat unusual, but we understand that this is National Boulevard here, and noontime, lunchtime traffic is out here. It's not too bad on National right at the moment.
Just got off the 405 freeway at National. He has been.
Okay, he's coming westbound, Debbie.
Yep.
He has been speaking to officers on the phone in an agitated state and motioning to officers as well. But the driving is something that they're going by here where it does seem like he's obeying,
Well,
for the most part, some of the traffic signals here.
And he's coming west to like Sawtell, west on National.
Goes through that intersection, and we can only glean that with all those cars stopped there going through the intersection that it was a red light that he went through. So certainly dangerous actions by this driver, but at the same time, you know, still driving at a relatively slower speed.
And this is our neck
other
of the
chases
woods
that we have seen.
So he's going over, and this is, you know, there's a lot of schools. It's residential here on National, which goes up to the Santa Monica Hangar Airport, right up there, it dead ends into.
That's right. I can see the airport out here. As a matter of fact, all the helicopters here were being directed by the air traffic controllers here as to where we can and cannot fly. So if I lose them temporarily, that'll be why.
All right.
Let's bring everyone up to speed, Bobby.
Okay. Well, this is a pursuit that started likely about 40 minutes ago or so in the Orange County area.
In Placentia?
On Chapman Avenue in Placentia. And a pursuit of a domestic abuse suspect. And this is a pursuit that poured onto the 91 freeway, the westbound lanes, then northbound from Orange County into LA County. And now this suspect has gotten off at National Boulevard and has now gone back onto surface streets there. From what we have seen for the time that we have been watching the pursuit, this is a relatively slow speed pursuit.
And I think he's just passing Barrington right now.
Passing Barrington.
That's right. They're by the Whole Foods on the corner of National and Barrington.
You come up there, and as we said, we don't know if there's anyone else in the car. You know, they're obviously being apprehensive because he claims to have a weapon, or she claims to have a weapon.
And it does appear that there may be another person.
He's speeding up now.
There may be another person in that.
Well, now this National dead ends here at the Santa Monica Airport. So we'll have to see if he decides to go.
It goes Bundy up towards our studios, or down south back towards Mar Vista and Playa Vista, and Venice.
Okay, now you see there's a
gas station right there.
People stopped at the stoplight here. See if he goes through the gas station. No, doesn't look like it. Nope, he's going straight. Okay, he's going north, Debbie. In case you want to know, Debbie is our pilot, Deborah.
All right, as we continue to watch this pursuit, again, that is poured onto surface streets, let's bring in police specialist Dennis Zine to talk more about what we're seeing here. A relatively slow pursuit that we're looking at, Dennis.
Absolutely slow, but a serious situation when you talk about domestic violence. And one thing that we really haven't mentioned during these pursuit broadcasts is there's serious consequences when they flee the police. Those consequences can be large fines up to $10,000. And also, if someone is injured or killed, they can go to state prison 4 to 10 years. So there's very, very serious consequences. We see oftentimes they're taken into custody, but this individual who's fleeing from this domestic violence situation, there's additional consequences for the pursuit. While it's not a high-speed pursuit, it is a pursuit. They're deploying a lot of CHP officers, blocking off the freeway, all that. There's consequences for that. So we've never really talked about what happens once they're arrested and they go through the criminal justice system. This is all tacked on to everything else they're in charge with.
So, Dennis, we're talking about the strategy. We've been talking about the strategy here because it does look like, although he has been breaking a lot of traffic rules, all in all, when you're thinking about the safety of the other drivers on the roadway, the CHP has been taking sort of a step back and not been too aggressive with this suspect.
Right. Yeah, there's obviously high emotions involved if you've got a domestic violence situation, but the fact that fleeing from the police, fleeing from the authorities, the Highway Patrol, that is an offense that can get them big fines, and if someone's injured or killed along the process, they can be going to state prison. So whatever they're wanted for, in this particular case, the investigation centers around domestic violence, which there's consequences, but this is tacked on to that. And again, people need to recognize, while it's a slow speed pursuit, you're deploying a lot of resources, the officers on the ground, the helicopters, et cetera. There's consequences for what this individual is doing. So the domestic violence will be the primary, and this is then tacked on. So it wouldn't be surprised from where this began to where it ends up. This person will be going to incarceration for a period of time once the case is resolved. But as we see, the driving is not erratic, but it doesn't have to be erratic. They're fleeing, they're not stopping, they're not adhering, whether they're on a freeway or a surface street. In this particular situation, we see that traffic is relatively light. But what we see happening is the possibility of an accident, the possibility of someone getting injured other than the driver of this vehicle, and then the deployment of all these resources from the California Highway Patrol. And there may be law enforcement agencies along the way that then also join in this pursuit. But the driving, as we see, is relatively moderate than what we've seen in the past, where the reckless driving. And the CHP, they have a number of units there. Obviously, the air unit overhead, the media on board, and we know this is going to end up eventually, hopefully, without anyone getting injured.
By the way, we're in West LA.
We're in West LA, headed on Ocean right now towards Santa Monica. But Dennis, I have a question for you. If he's alleged to have said he has a weapon in the vehicle, what's the protocol with that then? Because I don't think you want to do a pit maneuver and stop someone with a weapon.
Well, not really. You want to hold your distance. We know that pursuit not that long ago, the passenger was firing a weapon out of the passenger side toward the police vehicles. So you want to use extreme caution. But anytime you have domestic violence, you've got a situation that is extremely dangerous. A lot of emotions involved. So you want to be at a safe distance. This particular case, we see the windows open, driving at a moderate speed. But that domestic violence situation gets those emotions going, and then there's a possible weapon involved that oftentimes for the officers say, let's use extreme caution. They're obviously cautious, but use extreme caution because this individual could be firing at the officers. Again, when domestic violence takes place, emotions take place, then they find out, oh, I didn't know I was doing that, because they're really going out of their realm of reality. And that's one of the problems, is the officers have to conform with the rules and regulations, but safety is paramount, not only for the officers, but for the public, as we see along the way, as this pursuit continues through this path of a residential commercial area. And I think we're in the Santa Monica area now.
Yeah, if you're looking at the green bike lanes there, you can clearly see this is Santa Monica, the westbound lanes of Ocean Park. Probably around the 25th, 24th area, going towards the ocean. And CHP officers still there. There they are, 14th now, as we can see.
Well,
so
that's right.
Pretty close to the ocean.
Yep. If you're just joining us now, you're watching a special edition of the Fox 11 News at noon. We're covering a pursuit of a vehicle with a possible domestic abuse suspect inside this vehicle. This has been going on for a better part of almost an hour or so, and it started in Placentia in Orange County and headed up the 405 all the way now to Ocean Boulevard. We're in Santa Monica, and you can see the, believe it's still CHP behind him. I don't know if any other local units have picked up. So, you know, it's always a wait and see with these kind of things, Dennis.
Well, absolutely. So the CHP will remain in the pursuit. Santa Monica, LAPD may join in, but the CHP is the primary. Obviously, they followed out of Orange County into LA County, and now we're in the city of Santa Monica. So there'll be additional units that will arrive if necessary. But again, anytime there's a weapon involved, and there's a possibility of that, but over and above that, you got the emotional involvement of the individual who's fleeing. That's an older vehicle, sucks up a lot of gas, so we don't know what the gas situation is, and hopefully he runs out of gas, and that'll bring it to a quick stop. But the driving is really not erratic. It's dangerous and not complying, but you don't see one of these high speed. This is a pursuit, failing to yield, failing to comply, but it's not a high speed as we've seen going at very, very dangerous speeds.
Now just passing Ocean Park and 6.
Yeah, he's almost to Venice.
And it does look like these other cars, these other vehicles are doing the right thing. They see the pursuit coming their way, and they're going to the right side of the street. But certainly the fact that this person has already communicated, Dennis, to officers that he's armed, whether or not he's telling the truth or not, or just simply extremely. Look at, they've got the
birds there,
the bird scooters here. So this is a dangerous. You've got
kids.
You've got people on different kinds of transportation vehicles, and it's certainly a dangerous situation no matter where you slice it.
It's very, very dangerous. Anytime you get in a pursuit during the daytime, you're not on a freeway, you've got pedestrians, bicycles, we saw the bikeways along the path. There's a lot of hazards involved. Unfortunately, this vehicle is driving at a slow speed, which obviously is a safeguard for the pedestrians, the bicycles, other traffic. But we've seen many in the past when they're blazing through those intersections at high speed, and oftentimes we see the consequences of that action. So in this particular case, we do have a pursuit. It's not fast in the freeway. The speeds in the freeway were obviously at a reasonable speed. So we'll see how far this goes when he finally comes to a stop. But they're going to stay with this particular situation. Again, the primary would be a felony violation of domestic violence, suspicion of felony activity, and we don't know the consequences or the result of what happened there. But as this continues into the Santa Monica area,
now he's gone south. He's almost he's in Venice, and which becomes a heavily tourist-populated area. And the streets that he is on right now, there's a lot of walking. There'll be Abbot Kinney to the left on the other side, but a lot of people get heavily congested down here in just a second for this individual.
Southbound Nielsen, by the way, at Marine is where this pursuit is right now.
So now, as you mentioned, a lot of pedestrians. It's a hot day. A lot of people going to the beach, going to that area. So now you've got a lot of pedestrians, bicycles that'll be involved. And again, the driving pattern is not reckless. It doesn't negate the fact that it's still a pursuit, a slow-speed pursuit, but nevertheless, at least there's some caution being exercised for the pedestrians, for the bicyclists, for everything that's on the roadways. Again, you got the narrow roadway. In this particular section, we see no parked vehicles, but many areas are going to get into in Venice. Very, very narrow roadways with parked vehicles and pedestrians and bicycles.
Scary in of itself when you think that this is someone who's already called. He's got his windows open.
Yeah.
He's already called officers or talking to officers and seems to indicate that he has some sort of a weapon, perhaps a military-style weapon. So this is just another added layer, Dennis, when we're talking about someone, even though he's driving in a sort of a leisurely pace here, at the same time, he's communicating some violence with officers.
Exactly, and they have to be cautious of that. He could stop, jump out, and start shooting. I mean, anything can happen, and the officers have to consider those actions. So they'll pre-deploy. There may be officers ahead. There may be LAPD that he'll encounter. But as long as the vehicle is moving, all those situations will be taken into consideration. There'll be a supervisor who's going to be giving commands. In this particular case, it's not a high speed, so I don't see it terminating the pursuit and go into a tracking mode. It'll continue, at least 3 CHP vehicles, and I think as you get into the Venice area...
There's nowhere to go here. We're going to the beach
Venice,
here.
near the Venice
Boardwalk.
Pier, right there. Like that very busy area in the heart of Venice. Obviously now the summertime, July, we're looking at here, and that area is extremely congested with a lot of people. So
here we are at the Strand Boardwalk.
Tourists right there on the boardwalk. And as we see, really tight areas when you have people trying to drive through those narrow streets, and the pursuit going right into the heart of Venice.
Trying to see if we can see anybody else in there.
It does look like there's a person in the passenger side, or at least if you look at the red there, so it does look like there's something maybe that's in the passenger seat. Let's see.
No, it looks like bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
No, this is really tight.
It looks like gasoline, really like a thing for gasoline.
maybe
like
a tank or something?
Little holder, the gas carrying to do a fill up there. But as you can see, he's down at Venice Beach, close to the boardwalk, where, there's a lot of tourists, a lot of walking traffic. There's really nowhere to go in these tight corners in these streets, especially one way, a lot of one way. So if someone's coming the other way. But here are people with their cameras. And if you see this, don't, move away.
There's a lot of tourists in that area now, and this is going to be an interesting site for them.
Here we go. We're towards now the parking lot down by the pier, as you said, Bobby.
This individual's going to get trapped. They're going to trap.
Looks like it's going into he's going into a parking area.
Heavily populated.
I guess some of the danger here, and as I'm looking at more people here, I'm thinking is that we're looking at congested areas where there are a lot of people here, a lot of tourists, and when this driver has nowhere to go, that's when it becomes a real danger and a standoff kind of situation. And if this driver has indicated that he could be armed.
Well, here's protocol. His hands are up. This is usually typical. Hands up.
We're seeing a lot of folks out there watching this situation. A lot of hazard.
Barefoot and shirtless, and motioning to officers.
And they usually ask for hands up to clear his pockets. Dennis, is this normal right now?
Yeah, well, getting out of the car since now the pursuit has stopped, and hopefully he'll comply. Get on the ground. That'll be the next command. No shoes, no shirt.
He seems to be talking with them.
Get on the ground. And that ground's going to be hot.
In the parking lot in the Venice area, and a number of officers here. At least he is now out of the vehicle. But as we know, this part of Venice Beach is extremely crowded with lots of tourists, lots of pedestrians there, but lots of guns now trained on this guy, and he is walking away. He is not stopping. He is not stopping. He is now walking away.
So now you've got a situation where he's going to then get involved with the people, the crowds. They got non-lethal weapons, also lethal weapons. They want to take him into custody. He said he may have a weapon, so they've got to be cautious about that. We see LAPD's now arrived on the scene.
Well, he's signaling to him. It seems like he's taunting them a little bit.
Well, if he had a weapon, he'd have to have it hidden somewhere. I mean,
but he could have it in his waistband.
Okay.
But he's no shoes. No
so now they're approaching him even more closely here. These are non-lethals here. You can see the orange on the officer's the weapon there.
There's a taser and a non-lethal. Oh, he just got tasered him.
They got the beanbags, the taser.
They just tasered him.
They all types of non-lethal. Okay. That ought to, especially with no shirt, that taser is going to have quite an impact on the bare skin.
Well, they were
and obviously he's not complying.
There.
All he has to do is comply. Just comply, and he'll be fine. But he doesn't want to comply.
Well, this is a textbook of how something can work in their benefit when you have these non-lethals, and they use the taser in an effective fashion, as you said, with no shoes, no shirt, and that taser was extremely no shoes, no shirt, gotta hurt.
There you go.
When you're on the clothing, that's one issue. But you can touch bare skin with that taser. You have that impact. That'll definitely knock him down.
He went down quick. He went down quick.
Because if a bare chest, that prong goes right into the chest, right into the skin, and then you electrify. That's going to zap him real quick. So now he's in custody.
There's a lot of tourists in this area there. As you see, they've got their cell phones and their cameras now rolling.
Hey, Vinny, was there anyone else in the car? Can you see back there? Is the police looking through the car right now? I just want to make sure, is that all clear? It doesn't seem to be, so nothing seems to be coming.
There should be officers back at that car.
There's one right now, one or two, but not many.
It didn't look like there was anyone else.
I don't see anybody in there, and there's an officer standing right there by it. If there was someone in there, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So as you can see, Bobby, just tell them, let's bring everyone up to speed, just what happened.
All right, well, this pursuit now over. Looks like they have the suspect in custody. Pursuit that began in the Orange County area in Placentia, the 91 freeway, the 405 freeway. Happened at a leisurely pace. The driver was a domestic abuse suspect and claimed that he was armed. But as we saw him go into the Venice Beach area, trapped himself into a parking lot, got out, and shirtless, no shoes, they tasered him, and he is now in custody.
Yeah, he did not comply, as officers steadily asked him to get down on the ground, which is a normal procedure. He did not. He kept walking backwards, taunting the cops, and now he's in custody. But he seems to be up and not affected, possibly from that taser, because that hit him on bare skin, and that has got to hurt.
And the good news, it does appear that doesn't appear, at least from what we saw during the pursuit, that anyone was hurt in any of this. So good job by the CHP on this pursuit.
All right, Dennis, Zine, thank you so much. Vinnie Mac, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Bobby D.
We like to say code 4, suspects in custody.
Yep.
Code 4,
four fingers up, code 4.
Thanks so much. All right, you're watching the extended edition of the Fox 11 News at noon. Thanks for being with us. We'll have more coverage on the Fox 11 News at 5 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.
Have a great weekend, Bobby.
This has been a Fox 11 News special report.